Hello and welcome as the Ontario Hockey League commemorates Black Heritage. I am Rico Phillips, Director of Cultural Diversity and Inclusion for the Ontario Hockey League, and we are highlighting talented people from our league who are history in the making. Today, I am joined by Kiana Scott, who became the first woman to be named an amateur scout in Major Junior Hockey when she was hired by the Erie Otters in 2020. She also serves as the OHL on the OHL Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Committee. Hi, Kiana. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you, Rico?
Oh, I'm doing great, and it's such a pleasure to get this opportunity to speak to you and get to know you a little bit better for all those that have never met you. So, tell us a little bit about where you grew up. Where are you from?
Yeah, I'm from Barrie, Ontario. It's a small town just north of Toronto. Um, really small hockey towns, kind of where I first started playing hockey. And yeah, I started playing when I was around 9 years old. My brother was the first hockey player in our family. And when he started, I watched him for a year and I decided to lace up my skates the next year. I started with Barrie Sharks, which is the women's league here in my hometown. And I played there for quite a few years. And then I went into Barrie Minor Hockey, which is the boys' league here in my town, and played with them. And then in my midget year, I went and played a bit of rep. Uh, I played rep. That was kind of the highest level of hockey I played. The rest of the years, just house league hockey. I was a defenseman my whole life, kind of a stay-at-home D. I was a good skater, but didn't have hands, so couldn't really make a lot of offensive plays or anything like that.
Kiana, I'm. You're looking at the exact same person here. Defensive, stay at home, terrible. Heck, I have cement hands, man. They just don't work
Yeah,
the way I want them to. So
yeah,
yeah, I
me
get it. I
too.
understand. Well, that's great to hear. Also, as we all know, defensemen are the smartest on the ice. So that's all
Yeah,
good to
that's true.
hear. So when did you know you wanted to work in hockey?
Yeah, I think I've always wanted to do something with hockey. I didn't know what exactly. Right out of high school, I actually took a different path into cosmetology school to study makeup artistry. And every day I would show up to school and think to myself, what am I doing here? I'm destined to do something in hockey. And I started volunteering my time at training camps in the summer every year. And it just kind of started from there. I would evaluate players on the ice. I took a course with Sports Management Worldwide, a scouting and GM course. From there, I went into ISS Hockey's mentorship program for scouting and did that for 2 years. And then I'm in my second year with Erie right now.
That is awesome. I'd be the first to tell you that I'm not. I was always wondering how you break into scouting. How does a person become a scout? And it sounds like you did your homework to figure that out. And not only did you do your
Yes.
homework, look at it, landed you in a great role.
Yeah, didn't come from the most traditional background with playing professional hockey or
Right.
NCAA or university hockey like most scouts do. I just had a love and passion for the game, and I had a pretty good foundation playing hockey and being around a high level of hockey, just evaluating and kind of took it from there.
That's great to hear. I think many people don't understand that hockey has so many avenues. It isn't just
Yes, it
trying to
does.
make it to the show and professionally. There's so many opportunities that exist, and it's exciting to see you in a role and opportunity like what you're having. You're one of the pioneers of our league, so I'm happy to see that you're here. I'm serious.
Thank you, Rico.
You're welcome.
You
So
are
March,
too.
thank you. Hey, we're pioneering together. I appreciate
Yeah.
that. So March 2020 is announced you became the first woman scout in the OHL, being hired as a Bantam scout for the Erie Otters. Discuss what that meant to you to break into junior hockey.
Yeah, it meant the world. After ISS, I kind of knew I wanted to be with a team, and that was my next steps in my career. I didn't know how long it would take to get to the OHL level, but I was amazed to be the first and pretty honored to be the first female OHL scout. It's great to not only break into the OHL, but also break it into with the Erie Otters, an amazing organization where I can learn and grow as a scout and hopefully advance to the next level.
When you say the next level, where do you see yourself, with the scouting role?
Yeah, down the road, obviously, I want to advance to the NHL one day and become a professional scout. Other aspirations in hockey, I mean, obviously, I want to win a couple championships with my
Yeah.
team and, see the boys hoist that cup up. But down the road, a professional scout in the NHL, but also I want to own my own junior A team one day. I see how Jim Waters, which is our owner at the Erie Otters, and the impact he's made on our organization and creating this amazing community and culture with this team. I would love to do that myself with my own team one day and hopefully at the junior A level.
Yeah, that sounds great. I know Jim Waters, excellent. He was one of the first people I met when I got into the OHL, and he's just a beacon of light. And
Really is.
I'm happy that you found yourself a spot under his leadership. So for those wondering, I'm coming to you from the Dort Event Center, home of the Flint Firebirds, which is in my hometown. And I'm seated in an area that scouts sit to do their work. Explain your role. What's it like spending hours on a weekly basis in arenas trying to scout talented teams?
Yeah, so I scout the U15 level, which is the year before their draft year. My role for the Otters is basically to scout U15 and prepare my scouts, my U16 scouts for the next season. Scouting is a very, not a job for everyone, let's just say that. It's a lot of long road trips and early mornings, bad arena coffee. You have to have a real passion for the sport and evaluating players in order to do the job. I love every second of it, but you have to sacrifice a lot of time. Most holidays I'm on the road or at tournaments. I spend a lot of time away from my family and don't really do a lot of things that 20-year-olds or now 22-year-olds do. But you have to kind of be disciplined in that sense to become a scout.
Wow, that's I personally have never even thought about what it would be like to challenge yourself to go to rinks and watch players in games that may not be the greatest game that you ever want to see, and it's at 9 o'clock during a tournament. But then being able to do the tedious work of making sure that you give a proper evaluation. Wow, hats off to you and the work that you do. It's what provides our future here in the OHL.
Yeah.
So what message do you feel you send to not only young women, but girls of color when they see you in the arenas with a pen and notebook in hand, scouting for the OHL?
Yeah, I feel like I give the message that any job and dream career in hockey is achievable for women and women of color as well. If you work hard, anything is possible. I don't come from the most traditional background, so hopefully they can see themselves in me with, not looking like the traditional scout. And also with my background, I don't come from the most traditional way a scout is usually comes up into the industry. So hopefully they can see that way too.
To see a bright shining stars like yourself say that I'm not only going to dedicate myself to the sport, but I'm going to be proud of who I am dedicating myself. What does that mean to you to be, like I said earlier, a pioneer, so to speak? My experience is there's not very many people of color that are scouts, let alone a woman. How does that make you feel as far as pioneering?
I think it makes me feel pretty proud that I can not only do it for myself, but do it for younger girls that are going to be looking up to me, and representation does matter. I never really had a scout to look up to necessarily. Only in my second year of ISS did Cami Grinaldo. She got her job in the NHL as a scout, and I remember crying that day thinking to myself, like, this is achievable. And, that's my dream job, is to be in the NHL one day. So when I looked at her, I could really picture myself. And Blake Bolden is now a scout with the LA Kings. And, we've actually become really close, but we got hired at the same time. So I didn't really have anyone that looked like me. And I think that the moment that I knew I was making an impact on young women and young women of color is when I met Talia Rose, which is a young goalie from London. And I was helping a player out with a giveaway, and she was there and we were talking, and, her and her mom were kind of telling me, the mom was basically saying, this is Kiana Scott, this is what she does for a career. Like, this is, just because you want to be in hockey doesn't mean you have to go in as a player. You can be a scout, you can be a coach, you can be a GM, like, sky's the limit. And I think that when little girls look at me, hopefully they can see that sky's the limit. It doesn't matter, what people say, because I'm sure that a lot of women get told that it's not achievable and, different things like that. But I just kind of had to shake that kind of stuff off, and hopefully they can see someone in that limelight and know that that's achievable, and they could be me one day. Or even if they don't see a woman in that certain position, it's not impossible. I mean, I was the first, and they could be the first too.
Yeah, you said so much magic there. I'm hoping that in our audience today, that they find that the people that are watching us feel inspired by you, and feel inspired that the OHL is going in the right direction when it comes to diversity and inclusion. Kiana, I can't thank you enough for being a part of this series. It means that the representation we're looking for is happening, but we are the ones that are going to have to foster it. And so as people watch us today, like I said, I hope that they feel inspired to follow in our footsteps.
I hope so too, Rico. Thanks for your time.
Yep, absolutely.
See you in the rink.
Yeah, it's a great place to see one.
Yeah.